Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? Well, you're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to the Money Tip Podcast, presented by Fully Funded Life. My name is Joe Sangle, and I'm with my co-host, Megan Hibbert. Are you fired up today?
Fired up.
We are here to help you take a next step in your financial journey so that you, yes, you, can live a fully funded life. What does that mean? Well, that means being able to do exactly what you've been put on earth to do, regardless of the cost or the income potential it may have. And today, we're going to continue our Money Lies series.
We are, for episode 201.
Episode 201.
So this week, the title is They Don't Need to Know About This. So we're addressing the problem with hidden debt or income. Maybe you got some income you're hiding away.
Wow. They don't need to know about that. Sounds secretive and deceptive.
It does.
Hey, by the way, this is releasing the day after Mother's Day. And you're going to have been holding three babies all in the same day.
It's true. All in the same moment, probably.
So that's going to be awesome. So happy Mother's Day to you a day late.
Thank you.
That's awesome. And so we know what time it is. If you've listened to the podcast any time at all, you know that this is my favorite section. Let's go.
Now it's time to get caught up with our current money events.
The Monday Money Tip Podcast is sponsored by the Fully Funded Life Membership Program. The Fully Funded Life Membership Program provides all you need to begin winning with money and live a fully funded life. Fully Funded Life includes 4 key components: courses, challenges, coaching, and community. Courses provide financial education. Challenges help you make massive progress in a specific money skill. Coaching is provided by the Fully Funded Life certified coaches through open office hours held multiple times each month. All of the courses, challenges, and coaching results in an outstanding community that help equip, motivate, and encourage you to take your next financial steps toward your fully funded life. Fully Funded Life, courses, challenges, coaching, community. All that's missing is you. Learn more and receive a special offer for Monday Money Tip listeners today at fullyfunded.life/MMT. That's www.fullyfunded.life/MMT. All right, for today's current money events section.
Is that
I
rock?
wanted to sound like I was angry, very angry. We're talking about the United States national debt update.
Don't hurt your voice.
Do you like it?
You speak for a living.
You know, the last time the amount of debt held by the public actually shrank, did you know there's a time it shrank?
I did.
Well, that was 21 years ago in 2001. In fact, from 98 to 2001 with President Bill Clinton.
Mm-hmm. Say, I listen
no Republican wants to admit this. It was Bill Clinton who had a balanced budget. He was working with Newt Gingrich and the Contract for America. It was booming times, and they reduced debt every year, 98, 99, 2000, 2001. They were literally talking about the time that national debt would be to zero.
Now it's hard to imagine.
How have times changed?
Yeah.
In the second quarter of 2001, the federal debt held by the public was roughly $3.3 trillion, compared to $3.5 trillion in the same period the previous year. So we had paid off $200 billion in a year. And these were booming years for the U.S. economy, which helped reduce the government's need to borrow. That's a statement from an article that I'll link. But here's what I know. We're going to show this on the screen. I've got it on my phone here. It's something called the usdebtclock.org. So we'll have a link to that in the show notes, usdebtclock.org. And I'm zooming it in on the U.S. national debt. And right now, as I am processing this, it is $30.3 trillion. Is that unbelievable? That's, how many commas do you think are in that number?
4.
There's 4 of them, like 4. 1 comma gets you to the thousands, 2 to the millions, 3 to the billions, 4, well, that gets you to the trillions. Is that crazy?
It's a lot of commas.
Okay, so we're going to actually offer free Kleenex to anyone listening to the podcast here as they hear this information. Now, did you know not every, like we have citizens, right?
We do.
We have citizens, so your sons are citizens of the United States. They're born in the United States. They're citizens of the United States. So if you divided this debt amongst all your boys, they were not born debt free.
Nope.
And if you divided all that debt amongst every citizen, man, woman, and child, It's only $91,217. Get fired up. They almost have $100K in debt when they're born. Now watch this. Now, although they're cute and they should be in the Gerber baby commercials, they may not make money and pay taxes for a while. My 2 youngest do not pay taxes yet. So it's the taxpayers who pay the debt, right? So if you divide that debt amongst taxpayers, it's a cool $242,500. Woo, $250,000. Is that amazing?
That's wild.
Okay. So I just wanted to, in this current money events section, tell you some steps you can take. Do you like this? No. Can I do WWE announcing?
I don't know.
For the wrestling? You can write your senators and the member of the House of Representatives. You can write them. I did write them. I just wrote our United States Senators of the state of South Carolina, the Honorable Lindsey Graham and the Honorable Tim Scott. I wrote them. Did you know that? And I said to them, I hear a lot of talk about a lot of things. I don't hear a lot of talk about a balanced budget and reducing the national debt. And hey, here's a good start. Use this formula. Income minus outgo equals exactly 0. That's what I told them. And I said, hey, at the very least, let's just stop adding to the debt. That would be a good place to start. Yeah. Okay? And the second thing you could do is we have a representative government, right? We elect them. And collectively as Americans, well, we conspicuously consume all the time. And because we collectively spend $1.35 for every dollar we earn. And we all know that doesn't work long term. Well, when you look at it, we elect people that are representative of us. And we've elected a bunch of spenders who can't say no to themselves. They can say yes to pay raises to themselves, which is awesome. But here's what I would tell you. The greatest thing you could do is to live your personal life applying income minus outgo equals exactly 0 and teaching your kids, teaching your family, telling your coworkers what you're doing. Because if we as a nation, we become a nation of more prudent managers of money, we would elect representative people of that who understand what it means to say no to themselves and that there is a word called sacrifice that is okay to say, yes, in America, and is actually healthy to say from time to time. And we would turn this thing around. And I'm ready to turn this thing around.
Yeah.
Yeah?
We can elect you.
Yeah. So I encourage you. Are you going to write Tim Scott and Lindsey Graham? They're your senators too.
Yeah, maybe one day. I got a little bit of things going on.
Okay. That's good. Okay, right now, she's going to make sure these babies are taken care of. That's awesome. All right, so that's it for today's current money events section.
When you write them, do you write different letters or you just keep sending the same letter?
Oh, no, I write different letters. They say the same thing. It's a never-ending.
I was just curious.
Yeah, I've written them many times.
Yeah.
And it says, do you request a response? And I always request a response. And the response is nonsensical. And thank you for writing. I am currently working on your agenda to move this forward.
Doubtful.
And I'm like, that's great. Thank you.
All right. Our success story today is from a couple who's part of our fully funded life community. And we encourage our members to talk about their PhDs, which are their plans, hopes, and dreams. And this couple shared with us one of their favorite things they've done since joining fully funded life. And they say, listing out our dreams for the future together as a couple. Crazy to think that after 16 years of marriage, we have never really spoken out loud our dreams and goals. Mm-hmm. Some were the same and some were not. But now we are on the same page and talking the same language.
Well, there you go.
That's good.
That's what this is about. I mean, that's what Rung 1 is all about. It will power them with energy and fuel to make tough decisions. As I always say, when you do a budget, you're inevitably going to have to say no to yourself. Mm-hmm. And if you can't immediately answer the question, why am I telling myself no? It's going to be a struggle to keep telling yourself no. Yeah. But when you have those dreams, that's awesome. And so we're very excited about that because it gives you a level of intentionality. And by the way, it's fun to see those plans, hopes, and dreams written down of your spouse, of your own, the shared ones, and be able to check mark those things as you achieve them. Yep. High five moments.
That's great.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that. This podcast is powered by your success.
Yeah.
And so it's powered up. Turn up the voltage meter.
And there's no way that you can climb 9 rungs of a ladder without having plans, hopes, and dreams that are fueling you up the ladder.
Yeah, you need energy to climb a ladder.
Yeah.
You need energy to hang on to the ladder. Sometimes you just got to hang on, and that's a win.
Sometimes
Right?
I just need energy to stand up.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, so just a reminder, our topic, we're talking about they don't need to know about this, maybe hidden debt or hidden income. So over the years, Joe, you've done a lot of financial coaching for couples, and during these coaching appointments, has anything ever come up in their finances that one spouse or partner didn't know about?
Well,
Eek.
yes. They don't need to know about this. In fact, what I find is many times the one who's been hiding it feels like this is the safe spot to drop this on their spouse because they actually have someone sitting there, and they choose me as the lucky one
You're like,
to
I'm
see
gonna
the
back up
response.
a little bit.
Yeah, it's like, I need some coffee. I'm going to go get coffee right now. Now you guys fight it out. Here's some boxing gloves. No, but here are the things that are most common. Most common, hidden credit card debt. Mm-hmm. That is by far the most common one. Other ones is hidden student loan debt. Mm. They've been taking college classes. They've not been sharing how much the cost is. Mm. And they haven't had to pay it because they've been enrolled. Mm-hmm. And so they kind of grab that and hide it because they're so driven to get done with it. But, they need to share that because if they're married, they're both going to be on the hook for this, right. Paying it. Other things that have come up in their finances is that they have signed up for some subscription or something. It's a much smaller thing. But, hey, I've signed up for this. I know you don't want us to be paying for more subscriptions, but I like this show, so I've signed up for it. Those are lesser ones. But by far, the runaway one is hidden credit card debt.
Yeah, I think we've also heard when maybe you have a side business as a spouse that you're working on and your spouse thinks that it's going better than it is maybe, or your spouse doesn't know about, oh, I need to buy this and this and this for the business, and I need to do this and this and this so that my business can operate. And your spouse just assumes that money's coming in, but doesn't necessarily see the money going out.
Yeah.
And maybe the money going out is more than the money coming in.
And we want to be perceived as a success by people we don't know. We really want our spouse to perceive us as successful. It is horrible to admit that things are not going well. Mm-hmm. And when I see this hidden credit card debt, whether it's from a business venture or they're trying to cover the bills, a lot of times that person's the bill payer. And the person who's not the bill payer is maybe the bigger income producer, or they're really busy, or they have a very stressful job. And so they justify it by saying, they're very stressed out as it is. I'll just put it on the credit card. I'll use the tax refund that we get to pay it back. And then by the time the tax refund season comes around, the other spouse who has no idea of the credit card debt, they've got 5 or 6 ideas of what to use that tax refund money for. The bill payer can't bring themselves to say, no, I need that for this. Yeah. Then it becomes a festering mess. Yeah. Horrible.
Yep. So if there is hidden debt or income, what do you think is the best way to bring that to your partner and work through it?
Well, I want to back up a little bit before we talk about that. And I'll tell you the brief answer for the best way and then go back up here. The best way is to tell them.
Now,
tell them now. It won't get better.
Yeah.
You're not going to navigate your way out of it. I mean, you tried it for months, maybe even years. It's not working.
Well, and I'm sure it holds a weight on you
100%.
As the person that's hiding it.
100%.
To have
Stress,
that freedom of
anxiety,
letting go of it.
All humiliation, frustration, shame, all those terrible human emotions that cause us to do really weird things. But let's back up and talk about how they keep it hidden. It seems unbelievable that you could have $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 of debt hidden from a spouse. But the way it happens is the spouse who doesn't know about it has completely taken themselves out of money conversations. And that is one of the biggest challenges when both spouses will not be on the same page with their money, is it allows the one who's dealing with money to make whatever decision they want, good or bad. And the other person just operates in this do world thinking everything's going great. And so it also opens up for deception. And so they run to, so, you know, they will get the mail every day. They will make everything paperless transactions, so nothing shows up in the mail. It only shows up in their email box that their spouse does not have access to. And so that's the most common way that they do it, is they get it to where literally the spouse who doesn't know about it can't even access information to know about it.
Right.
And a lot of times that spouse is very happy to not deal with it. They feel like that's a great thing, that they've won, that they don't have to deal with money, and their spouse carries that weight all by themselves until the day they find out that they're delinquent. And I remember distinctly having a neighbor of mine come over, and his spouse had ran up some credit card debt. And this was a neighbor at another previous house, not where I'm living now. And his spouse had been paying all the bills. He had been working 2 jobs, busy. And, you know, she's really good with math and all that stuff, and had ran up a bunch of credit card debt. And then the credit card debt got so out of control that she wasn't even able to make the house payment trying to keep up with the credit card debt. Sure. And so he got home early one day and found foreclosure papers in the mailbox and had no idea that they were even late on anything. And for her, it was that terrifying moment. Oh, he found out now. What is he going to say? But on the back end of it, she expressed that it was the most relieving thing ever to be able to, that the big secret was known. And so, you know, if there is hidden debt, what is the best way to bring it up to your partner and work through it? Those are two separate questions. But if you keep thinking there's some best way to bring it to them, there is no best way. The best way is to bring it up to them right now, like right now. And I would tell them very clearly, hey, over these past 2 years, you've been very stressed, and I've been paying the bills, and we have not had enough coming in. And I have mistakenly told you, yes, we could buy stuff when you've asked, when really we couldn't afford it. And I have some horrible news I need to share with you. Yeah. And please don't hate me. You know, these are the human statements to say. And say, I'm ashamed to say that we have $25,000 on a credit card. And I need you to help me. Yeah. Because obviously I can't do this by myself. And I always say, my favorite way to argue in moments when I am terribly wrong. It's some insight to Joe and Jen when we have conversations. What do you call it? You don't call it arguing.
No, we call it
fellowship. Intense fellowship.
Intense fellowship. Yeah,
I think I remember you saying that. That was awesome. It's intense fellowship. Well, when we have some intense fellowship in the house, I choose the wet noodle approach. Do you want the wet? You know, if you're pushing on a wet noodle, no, the wet noodle, like you can't push against it. It just gives way. And that's me. I'm like, you're right. I'm wrong. You're right. I'm wrong. I just admit it. Just throw myself at the throne of grace and mercy, hopefully. Right? So bring it up and tell them, and have the numbers in front of you so that you can tell them clearly what it is. And I would say, hey, think through what are ways that you feel like you could best work through this. And, you know, hey, I've thought of these 3 ways that maybe we can use. We can use the tax refund. And I know that's not fun. You get a bonus every year. We're going to need to use the bonus for that. We have that extra Harley that you don't ride. We need to sell it, right? That sort of thing is a great way to bring it up to your partner, who's like going to be shocked. And they may not be hearing things for a little while.
Right.
But I can tell you, keeping it hidden won't make it better. That's a fact.
Yeah. All right. And then do you have any tips for paying off this newfound debt?
I do. It's going to shock you.
I do.
What do you think it is? Huh? We're going to pull out the fully funded life ladder. We're going to dust it off. We're going all the way down to rung 1 and say, what are our plans, hopes, and dreams? For real. Because a lot of times this debt is incurred because you've been trying to fund a plan, hope, or dream, but you didn't go about it the right direction. So now let's get them all out in the open. Then rung number 2, build that month's worth of savings, pay the minimum payment on this debt, and then go to rung 3, make sure you're getting that company match. And then 4, start attacking this debt. And the way, if it's a credit card debt with a high interest balance, roll it over to a 0% balance transfer credit card. That way, at least the interest is down to 0 or close to 0. Restructuring debt is a huge way to get traction. Another way to make sure you pay it off is to consider all the different ways that we teach in Fully Funded Life about how to speed up your debt payoff, which is work overtime, have a side hustle, sell something, prepare a budget, cancel subscriptions, right? Get lower interest on your debts. All of those things help you speed up your debt payoff. Yeah. And so that's what I would really encourage you to do. And more than anything, one of the tips I would do, and this will seem self-serving, but we created this to serve people, is join Fully Funded Life.
Yeah.
And sign up for a coaching appointment immediately with your spouse, because we are not emotional about other people's money. Like, we're passionate about helping people win with their money, and we're emotional about our money. You're emotional about your money. I'm emotional about my money, but we're not emotional about your money. You are. And you're going to be very emotional, and your spouse is very emotional about this money.
And that's why you need us.
And so you can sit in a coaching appointment with somebody who's going to treat you like human beings and say, hey, we get it. This is not unusual. This is far more common than you think. It wasn't done with a bunch of ill intent, but it looks like it now because it's such a mess. And we will help you prepare a budget, get a plan, so that, and then give you encouragement to help you navigate this. And you know what? You could probably find that you're more unified in your marriage on the back end of this, having fought through it together, because the spouse who's been hiding it is going to be so grateful for the forgiveness. The spouse who knows about it is going to find a new love for the fact that their spouse was able to come to them, share it, and that they were able to navigate through it. I'm telling you, a new level of unity will be found. Yeah. It's awesome.
And maybe you're in this season and you're like, I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can be honest with my spouse. Well, we have a previous episode that we're going to link in the show notes with some of our really, really great friends that we sat down with, Jeff and Sabrina. And they go through this where Sabrina had some hidden debt she talks through. And they talk through how it worked, what she said, how she did it, how Jeff responded, how they moved forward. I mean, I think that is one of the episodes that I always go back in my head about, like, whoa, that was like a good episode. Like, it was just like, we were all there. I think we were all crying. I don't know. It's a really great episode. And so I think if you're in that boat where you're like, I don't know if I can take the step, well, go listen to that episode. We're going to link it in the show notes, so you can click on it and listen to it. But if somebody else who has been there, taken the steps, said it out loud, they've recovered from it, they've moved forward, their marriage is stronger than ever now because of how they worked through it. And it's just a really great testimony of, you can do this. You can, like, the hidden debt doesn't have to be something that breaks your marriage, but it can bring your marriage together. Yeah.
And I think we should also link to Gary and Karen's, the one when we interviewed them, because he was the non-participating spouse who had his wife carrying the whole burden. And there wasn't so much hidden stuff, just a spouse saying, I'm not going to be a part of this. Right. And so his bride was carrying the whole load. And that also stands out in my mind as a very emotional conversation. Yeah. And so we want you guys, listening to this podcast, watching on YouTube, we want you to be able to hear from some others who have been through this and they've navigated through it. And now they're, nearly 10 years or more past that decision that you're facing right now, perhaps. And we wanted to be able to give you that encouragement to say, do right now what 10 years from now, you'll be looking back and saying, I'm so glad I did that. And who knows, you might become a guest on the podcast. Yeah. Get fired up.
All right. Our verse for today is Romans 13:8. And it says, let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another. Whoever loves others has fulfilled the law.
Yes. I love that verse. Don't let your debt remain outstanding. Doesn't say debt is bad. It says not paying it back. Well, that's bad. Hey, next episode, we're going to talk about something really important for those of you with kids or grandkids. We're going to talk about ways to pay for those kiddos' college.
Who doesn't love that?
Get fired up. And early news flash is, give birth to somebody who has Major League Baseball skills or NBA skills or something like that. That would be awesome. In case you don't have a superstar athlete, than give birth to a brainiac.
I think my son is both of them.
Okay, that's awesome.
Athletic and smart.
That's great.
I'm not sure. I don't know about the twins
yet. Do I get free tickets to his baseball games?
I think he's going to do great
awesome.
things.
I really want to go to his Pee Wee League games. It's going to be awesome.
I can't wait to sign him up.
He's going to have an 85-mile-an-hour fastball. It's going to be awesome in Pee Wee League. All right. So, hey, if you like today's episode, please help us get this podcast to other people who could benefit. You can do it by quickly rating the podcast, leaving a review, leaving a comment on social media. Helps those algorithms find and discover this podcast for other people. If you're watching on YouTube, click the subscribe button. And if you are watching on YouTube, leave a comment. What is the comment that you would leave that you would use to encourage somebody who is facing hidden debt and having to tell their spouse? What would you tell them? What's a tip that you've seen to be helpful in your life or in somebody that you know's life? Until then, until next Monday, have a great week. Hey, you got hidden debt? Have the conversation today. You'll never regret it. Get fired up.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit iwbnin.com. We'll catch you next time.